Cabin fever's got the best of me. We still got a pretty good snowpack down here in southern Iowa. But it was a warm day and I thought I might stumble around here on the 9th of February. I really hate days like this. But I hate it almost as much as sitting in the house too. Because you look around here and you can see firsthand everything's snowed up and really makes it hard to find an antler unless it's an exceptionally large one. But the only good aspect about looking in the snow is if you find a good deer trail, you might get on it because they're still trailed up. So it's about 12:30 on the 9th of February 2020, and we'll just take a small walkabout. If we find anything, we'll share it. Like I said, that's the only good thing about snow, the deep snow, is you can definitely define trails pretty easy. And this time of year, the deer are going to travel trails to and from. And it's nice to be in this area where it's got some low brush and stuff, because that's the natural #1 food for a browsing deer. You can get into some of those hardwood timbers. Acorns have been gleaned by now and there's not much food in there. So it's nicer to be where it's some trashy rabbit type habitat. That's where you'll find the most deer sign. 9th day of February. Usually I don't see those until March. That's pretty early. Yeah. Robins are either they didn't leave or they know something I don't know. We're going to walk down there, and while we're looking for antlers, we're also doing next fall scouting. And here's a real interesting situation down here. I'll walk down here and show you. As you look down on that snow, you can see that well-defined trail. And that trail runs north and south. And the deer use that extensively the entire year. Now they haven't used it for a while, that's apparent, because there's no new track in there. But what that gives you, that's headed due north. They come down or they leave using this trail. And what I'm looking for today, at this moment with you, would be a place, being they definitely, you see how that's all eroded out and makes it easy for them to cross down there. And you can see the track on that. So, if I was to select a tree off over in here, which would give me a perfect southwest wind stand, either evening or morning, I could intercept what's coming down this trail and crossing at this crossing. So it gives me an idea that I can work on a group of trees over here that I possibly, a good stand of them would hide me pretty good, and it would only be a mere 20 yards, 25 yards off the trail, that you could put a ladder stand in one of those, and the wind would be blowing that way, which would be taking it from the southwest out, and it'd be an excellent stand setup to hunt that. So just confirmation of how they're getting across that creek right there. I was a little disenchanted. I came in here last year and cut some trees down, figuring that would open this As you can see, that's a south exposure hill. I figured I'd be finding more beds on this hill than what it is, because it does, the sun is directly on it the entire day. And so sometimes your plans work and sometimes they don't work. But I definitely thought this whole south hill would be a whole lot of old beds on it, which to my dismay are nil to none. What we're looking at is a real defined, you can't get a better temperature of your woods than what we're looking at. And by that I mean deer trails or deer activity is almost non-existent. And the reason why is, as you look up at these hardwood trees, the mass crop that they delivered has been gleaned, hickory and oak trees, and there is absolutely no browse on these older timber. That's where logging or fire, especially logging, comes into play. And that's what really made the deer herd of past thrive, was the aggressiveness of logging. Well, as these trees grow, and you notice this has no browse at all on it. No low hanging new growth, none on the ground, and therefore there is no tractability. And you know, a lot of people, they want the timber, but lacking timber management per se sort of defeats your purpose, because there's just no food value there, because you need that. And I got some of it growing, but it's not being browsed on. And I tried to open this up to get this new seedling growth growing, but as you notice, it's not really mature enough to be browsed upon, and I don't see any new browsing on the tips of it. But we do have some old beds in here that we came upon, but these are old, they're froze over, and there's like I say, substantial amount of droppings and stuff. But the deer that made these beds aren't in this area as we speak, naturally, but they haven't been in this area for quite a while. But there was quite a few doe beds, but and like I say, I call them doe beds because I assume that's what they were. And here was another interstate trail. As you notice, very little browsing going on. They just, in here, they're getting up, going to and fro, and up on top is the food plot. So they were just venturing back in here with the north wind and traveling very little. And here is one of those travel corridors, as you can see. Now that would be heading east-west, and didn't venture off it at all. They're not going to burn up calories in that kind of cold. They're going to go to and fro and save as much calories as they can. Now as we venture up here out of the timber where the beds were, and we were confirmed by the snowpack, you will see the browsing pressure that they continue to do on your fall annuals. And you can look at that field out there and just see how it's tore up. So it was being heavily used as a food source through January, and here it is the 9th of February. Now, me and little Donnie were up here last week, and some of this stuff was here, and I suppose some more of it got made. But here's an interesting fact. There's that hedge apple tree And on Thanksgiving Day 2019, you've seen several deer foraging those hedge apples. And you won't find one hedge apple there now. They're non-existent. They have been gleaned. And I hope that inadvertently shed some light on a food source that a lot of people may have overlooked. Hedge apples are really consumed by the white-tailed deer. So let's walk on out here. This was planted in a Nebraska type, beets and greens and pure attraction. And you can see for yourself all the foraging that's been going on out here. And these fields were hit hard early because of the lack of food in the vicinity of agriculture. So, but you can see the extensive pawing and stuff that's went on up here. So, like I want to emphasize, in my way of thinking, food plots aren't all about killing. And as you pan down here, you can see the turnips there where they've been half eaten, and they're still off of forage, and those deer can come back and keep foraging on them, you know, especially after the snow melts off of them. But there's been a tremendous amount of foraging going on up here at one time, and I can't emphasize the turnips really got eaten to the ground, and that's what you plant them for. I guess I'm a non-typical dude that I don't have to kill anything. This is my reward right here, is to say that the wildlife, deer in particular, benefited from them. And this was a cornfield that went south. So if I would have left this cornfield, there would have been no food source at this time of year. And this is still providing a supplemental food source on February 9th. Now it doesn't look to me like they've been too aggressive here in the last week, but they definitely have hit this field hard. Now the sun went behind the cloud. That took a lot of glare off of there, which is good. We're going to follow this main corridor down, and as I stated earlier, the deer in this area have moved on to, per se, greener pastures, because this trail here, it would, after last night with that full moon, if they were running all night long, this would have been hammered, and there's not a fresh track at all on this main highway. So like I said, things change, and that's one good thing a snowpack does give you, is that information. So it's not all bad. Well, we'll wander down through here. I'm going to make it a short day because I just don't want to be walking around and having to walk the same properties 2 or 3 times. And but it's nice. I am learning stuff and sharing it with you, because like I say, this was a main highway during the heavy snow, and now it's just completely been evacuated, and it's not even in use. It's not a fresh track on there. Well, that's going to put a wrap on it today. The 9th day of February 2020. And as you can still see as we pan around here, there's still plenty of snow in the timber, and it's all 6 inches deep out in there. So it's pretty challenging to find. Everything's just white, and like I said, now the sun has went under the cloud bank, and it's still just, everything you see is white. So when you're looking for the white gold per se, it's pretty darn hard. It would have to be laying right on top of the snow, because like I say, we weren't really intense. I just wanted to sort of see the foraging on the food plots and where the deer have trailed up, and learn a little from that. Well, that's going to put a wrap on it, and we're not going to get serious about the sheds until a lot more of the snow gets out of here. Just waiting on Mother Nature now, even though we've seen robins. Well, I found my first antler February 11th, 2020 at 10:17. So we'll walk over here and pick him up. There he is, laying right there in the snow, right out there. We're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There he is, right there. First one of the year. February 11th. Right there, and he was covered up pretty good. First human hand. First one of the year. 10:17. And it's not the kind of day I wanted. As you can see how contrast that white is to that snow. I was just lucky to, you wouldn't have seen him a couple days ago. First one of the year. Okay, I think I found a dead skull. And my game warden told me that I'd probably run into this with that EHD that went through here. And we're probably 25 yards from it right now. So we'll walk over here, pick it up. I don't know if you can see. The sun is really a booger. But it's laying right out there. We'll step off the steps. 1, 2, 3, 14, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That is definitely a dead skull, but he's been there a while, and that could have been a midsummer. Anyhow, that's what's the remains of it. And like I said, my game warden told me I'd probably keep my eyes open because I'd probably, unfortunately, come across this quite a bit. First human hand. Yeah, he'd been there a while. I'd say he probably died in the summertime. It's well, nature's way of controlling the herd. Yeah, I want to show you something of interest. I can't remember what year it was. It's probably been at least 6 years ago that I had my little blue Ford tractor in. It was a real cool day in July. And I mowed this trail in, and it's been here for, I'd say, I know 5 years, if not 6. But I just want to show you what it looks like today. Yeah, this trail is running north-south. And you can see how they really trailed up on it. And numerous sized tracks on this trail. And like I say, that was done in July, and here it is, the 11th of February, 2020. And I'm going to say it was probably 2015 or 2014, whatever. Yeah, 2014, 2015 is when we mowed this trail in here. And as you can see, that did what I wanted. They trailed up right up on it. Just a little tip I'm going to pass along on land management. There it is right there as it heads on up out through the timber. Just one 48-inch path, that's all I made down through here. This is a south-facing slope, and I see where they've been meandering around in there. I'm going to wait for the snow to get more melted out of there, because it's pretty deep in there, and I don't want to walk it more than once. So right now I'm just walking trails, and if I find a shed on the trail, that's good, because you're walking through that snow, you don't know whether you're walking past them or not unless they're laying right on top. And by the way, it's probably close to 1:30 now, and that's quite a, since 10:30 when we found that first shed right off the bat. We've done a lot of walking. Yeah, this was the area that we took some of the old clover out, and where this is all rutted up at. This was planted in the winter grains, and they've been in here, but I can tell you right now, this was really hammered, and there's very little forage left on that from such grazing pressure that I sustained with the lack of ag crops around me. Well, sometimes you find a lot, but you know, finding that small 10-point side or 5-point side, whatever you want to call it, right off the bat really gets your whole motor running, and it propels you. I'd hated to walk all day and then found that at the last 10 minutes of the day, but that's how it goes with shed hunting. You can find it the first minute out or the last minute with your head down and your tail dragging. So that's it, 2020, February 11th.